Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome to Walking with Beau. Probably going to have some traffic noise today. But that's the way that goes. Gonna do a day walk today. Kind of mild today a little bit, but not miserable. Well, the first thing that comes to mind to talk about today is the Secret Service director has officially resigned today. Kimberly Cheadle. I called her Susan Cheadle in the last video of walking. So I stand corrected on that. I'm not always right about everything in detail, but it doesn't mean I don't like to talk about things. And as always, anything I'm saying, don't construe it as being factual news. I don't want to unintentionally spread misinformation. But anyway, you know, she should resign. Now we have whistleblowers coming out. Senator Josh Hawley has a small handful of them, actually. Some from law enforcement and some from the Secret Service. Secret Service is throwing law enforcement under the bus, as well as their own departments, mistakes that were made. Law enforcement's doing the same thing. And it's starting to look like, if you caught the interview with Trump on Jesse Waters with J.D. Vance, he was talking about the police officer that went to go up on the roof, and the shooter pointed his gun right in his face. And, you know, as most people would, he kind of like, whoa, oh my God. And he backed off and he lost his grip and he fell. So the problem is, for some reason, he didn't notify anybody. Now, why would he do that? Or did he notify somebody and there was a miscommunication and the message did not get the Secret Service, who absolutely would not have let Trump go out there? So a lot of mistakes were made. Secret Service director has resigned, which she should have done, and she shouldn't even have to wait to be subpoenaed to testify, to be honest. So she's out, and now we have the mess to clean up with details. There's been information online about advertising tracking cookies on the shooter's phone, or somebody that he knows went to his house, also went to his workplace, also went to Washington, D.C., and the initial report was nearby an FBI building. Well, Washington, D.C. has got government buildings all over the place. The ad tracking actually specifically pinpointed the person at a grocery market. So that doesn't mean a hill worth of spit, okay? just doesn't. So anyways, I don't really think that means anything. It's not some conspiracy thing. But another whistleblower that Josh Hawley has stated from somebody in law enforcement that the officers that were outside that building were supposed to be out there and they weren't. It was very hot that day, okay? Police officers wear dark uniforms. They have a lot of equipment. It's not comfortable. They're not in t-shirt and shorts, okay? That's fine, but there was also, according to the whistleblower, somebody was supposed to be up on the roof where the sniper went, and he was not. So the whistleblower is claiming that because of the hot temperatures, the officers actually went inside the building where it was air conditioned and left the roof open because they didn't think anything serious would happen, probably, because most of the time it wouldn't. But you start getting into a whole mathematical stuff now, okay? And you know, we're talking about things like, what are the odds that the officers on the perimeter and the one that's supposed to be up on the roof all went inside the building, leaving the roof open on a day where a 20-year-old kid sneaks in? He was not inside. Thank you. Well, that was interesting. That was an interesting conversation. So I'm not going to put that entire conversation on video because I don't know who they are. But I'll tell you, now that they drove off, that they were nice people. I wish I could figure out how to blur faces. That was a very nice man. So he's looking for Kennedy Park. He's obviously not in the right place. I think what he did was he came across the bridge over here, and he needs to head back down the other way. I gave that kid the whole sidewalk. I don't want to panic him. I don't want the kid to panic and end up in the weeds. So, this is why I like going out on walks. You always run into different things. So anyway, I was talking about the Secret Service and mistakes that were made, whistleblowers, and I think people are on it. I'm going to head down this way. So, always willing to help people. I don't know where that guy came here from, but he said he was down this way years ago. And he said that part of town looked a little run down. And it still is. So hopefully I don't get caught in a shower. Definitely a chance of that today. But it's not cold, so I don't really care about that too much. I'm going to check I hear a jet plane. Well, we don't have any big clusters of thunderstorms or anything, but they kind of spring up here and there sometimes. But right now we don't have any big like thunderstorms coming. So that was the best way I could explain it for him. His kids have cell phones. They should have just taken out Google Maps or something and use that to find where he's going. You can use Google Maps as GPS. If you're an older person watching and you don't like technology and you have a cell phone, all you have to do is most cell phones these days, including well, the Apple phones come with Apple Maps, but the Android phones come with Google Maps, and you can also download Google Maps from the App Store, the Apple App Store, if you have an Apple iPhone. And you just use GPS, Google Maps, and what that's good for is you can drop a pin on the map with your fingertip where you want to go, or type it in for directions. Then you click the directions, which will be right there in front of you. You don't have to look for it. And it will tell you where to turn. It's like GPS directions. I use that sometimes. A lot of people have sat navigation right in their dashboard in their car, and I have an older Mustang that doesn't have all those accoutrements. So you can find pretty much any place you need to go to with directions, because Google Maps is pretty updated with roads and stuff. If the city closes off a road, and like yesterday or something, it's not going to show up on there, but you can get where you need to go with it. I was surprised that this guy stopped and asked for directions. I didn't think anybody does that anymore. And he was an older guy, but he looked like he was around my age, maybe younger, or somewhere around there, probably around our age group, 50s, and without GPS, he can't find his own rear end with his own hands, I guess. So I would recommend that to people. The other thing I would recommend is using a Bluetooth, especially in a car. It's sat nav that people have in their cars. It talks to them, obviously, but with a phone can do that too, but I find it easier having a Bluetooth. It is a nice day for walking today because the sun's not out nice and strong, and it's about 80 degrees almost, 76 to 80. Little on the humid side, not miserable. So my directions didn't get him lost, but it also didn't get him exactly where he needed to go. But basically I was telling him to go straight down this way. And that's really the problem. You got one-way streets, and now that I think about it, there's two five-way intersections that he's going to come up on. There's actually three. He wanted the second one. He's going to think the one at St. Mary's Hospital is the one he wants. Well, as soon as I said Google Maps for directions, I think that guy's daughter was going to check that out. She looked a little nervous. And it's true, you know, drugs know no skin color. Drug crime is drug crime. It's whoever's doing the most drugs. Well, anyway, I hope he finds where he's going. And again, you know, it's like, I don't know how people can get lost nowadays with Google Maps and GPS. Shouldn't be getting lost. He's looking for the Basilica across from the park. Well, he's talking about St. Patrick's Church, and it's not a church anymore, it's a community center. And the other basilica is St. Peter and Paul Cathedral, which is on the street I told them to take from this 5th Street intersection. So if he gets that far, he'll recognize it instantly because he's seen it before years ago. Anyway, we're on our walk. I got to talk to you guys about polling. I told you as soon as Kamala was named, you're going to see a surge in polling in favor of Kamala, and it's not going to be accurate. That was blatantly obvious, and it's fundraising. It's suppression polls, and it's also fundraising polls. Hi ma'am. So we have suppression polling going on. The same polling company, a day apart, went from Trump being 9 points ahead of Kamala Alright, and this is how ridiculous this is. To now Kamala having a 2-point lead over Trump. That was Reuters Ipsos polling. Told you that was going to happen. It was expected. It'll be like that for the next 2 weeks too. So I got to pay attention at this intersection. It's not a happy one. So I'm going to come through this way. Cut across here. Past the discount smoke shop. And as you can see, it's threatening thunderstorms today. I'm sure we are going to get something. Nothing on the radar right now, but something is brewing. So the polling is out of about the 12 polls I looked at, 4 of them were skewered towards Kamala, and the small print on the Ipsos poll is all you needed to see, really. It was a small sample pool of 476 Democrats and 325 Republicans with no independents. Okay, that's the key thing right there. They don't have any leaners in their poll. They just polled an oversized Democrat sampling pool, an undersized Republican pool, and they didn't have any independents or leaners in there. Well, of course the poll is going to look like Kamala's 2 points ahead because it's oversampled with Democrats. So they oversampled by 7%. So if they oversampled by 7% and Kamala has a 2% lead over Trump, that means she's doing even worse. And it's a skewered poll because it's for fundraising. It's to get the small dollars from the young, impressionable, gullible people who now are going to cough up their dollar menu for McDonald's because they're all excited that Trump is being beat. It's a nasty game that these companies play, and if we had an honest media, would know that. And I only know that because I subscribe to a lot of independent media who sometimes make mistakes, but when they do, they own it, and they're not playing propaganda games. Is the main thing. I would rather have a whole bunch of non-propaganda news with a couple occasional mistakes than watching the mainstream media, which is all propaganda and BS. And that goes for Fox News, they're propaganda too. Gateway Pundit I like, but they're not independent. They heavily skewer their headlines and articles to be far right. Whenever you're reading an article and it'll say something like, disgusting decision by so-and-so, as soon as they are infusing opinion in there, it's propaganda. It might be factual propaganda, but more than likely you're going to get half the truth. Now, Gateway Pundit does that a lot. But at the same time, they have a lot of information the mainstream media doesn't cover. So you have to do your own police work. Unfortunately, it's time consuming. You can't just take things on its face. You have to check out all the facts. So I'm going to cut through here and hopefully survive. This is a pretty busy intersection this time of day. So, you know, you have to use due diligence and scout out everything. It's important. So I scouted out the information on that poll, and in the small print on the company that did the poll, it has the size of the sampling pool and who they sampled, and that's always important. Good polls are supposed to have that. Now, when you have a poll with likely voters, things change, often dramatically. So you could take that same sample pool and throw in some likely voters and independents. The only polls you should be paying attention to are ones that include independents, I guess is my point. So even then, you have to kind of police their sampling pool, percentage numbers. In other words, if they have independents in there that right now are leaning towards Trump, they undersampled the Republican pool to balance it out to make the Democrats look better. So everybody knows they do this because they sell polling. You know, Democrats have a lot of money. They want favorable polling. It's a business like everything else. I wish they could be honest brokers. I wish the media could be honest brokers. They had a whole bunch of polls putting Trump ahead of Biden. And, you know, they were trying to get Biden out of office for the Democrats. So the worse they make Biden look, the more panicked donors got. Oh my God, Trump's freaking 7 points up on Biden. Biden has to go. I don't believe Trump was up 7 points. I think he was more like 4 or 5. It was very bad for Democrats, make no mistake. But they made it worse to really cause panic. Now they get Biden out. So now they are going to shift their polling to make Kamala look good and raise money. It's going to be all in for Kamala now from the media. Are they going to resort to calling Trump a dictator, a Hitler? Well, AOC did. So AOC certainly did that. So we will keep track of things. Now, shifting gears a little bit, there was a channel on YouTube that I subscribed to. Wish I could remember the name of the channel. Little Big Flea Market or something like that. Or the Big Little Flea Markets. But basically, most of his videos covers malls. Former malls, antique malls, now dead malls. And he's got several videos from around the country of malls that he went to physically and recorded. Pretty cool. Anybody that can get cross country and go to different malls, record videos, and I stumbled upon it because he had a really good Auburn Mall video that he uploaded 5 days ago. Thought that was very cool. Whew.
At least it's not hot out, right?
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, that's good. See an overweight fella like that out getting some exercise, burn some of that off. That's always a good thing. Hope he stays at it. So anyways, Really cool stuff. I have an Auburn Mall video on my channel. It's a cool place, it really is. And it's going to be sad when the day they close it, and eventually they're going to. It's getting old. This guy's video, actually, he walked through JCPenney, and JCPenney had air conditioners in their aisles running up to the ducts. So the Auburn Mall, I guess, does not have good HVAC currently. Usually in Maine you can get away with maybe not having so much of it, or one that doesn't work as well, but they didn't have their central air working in JCPenney. And JCPenney had their own air conditioning units in the aisles, which I thought was interesting, because it physically had like these tubes going up right up into the ducts. Kind of air ducting that kind of looked like a slinky, you know what I mean? Collapsible air duct. It's interesting. So we got this person out here who obviously has some kind of disability of some sort, injury perhaps. And he's out walking, working his injury. Sure, that does not feel good. Not at all. Blew my hamstring out once and it hobbled me like that for quite a while. So here we are with the beautiful baseball diamond that I used to love to come to and hit baseballs. And it's kind of sad, 56 years old, can't throw like I used to. Can still throw a ball, just not like I used to, and that's really the problem. That was one of the reasons why I stopped playing ice hockey too, is I'd be like going to get to a hockey puck, and I remember getting to the hockey puck before I did, using the same effort I was using, and it kind of made it not as enjoyable. So that would be kind of cool though, to have a camera like this hitting baseballs, because then I would have my swing and we could watch where I hit the balls. But we don't have that, so there's no crying in baseball. So anyway, things look further away on here too. This is not a regulation distance pitching mound. That's the other thing. It's made for Little League and softball and things like that. But it is a beautiful looking field. It is about 410 feet to the base of that hill. Maybe longer. Well, right around there, I guess. Everything looks further away on this camera, or any digital camera. Even when you have it on the narrow setting, it does. But there is a short left field porch, which they would have to have a taller wall, kind of like Fenway Park, Green Monster. So Now I'm going to cut through here. It's obvious they have cut this off to traffic. I'll go through here. They got a hose out here, probably watering the grass or something. So we got Public Works staging down here, looks like. What's this here? Public schools. We didn't have little vehicles like this when I went to school here. A nice shot here. As I've explained before, the middle school here had this face built on in 2014. I no longer have a clock up there. To be honest with you, I don't remember if it ever did have a clock. But this is still the Lewiston Middle School. I wonder what they've renovated inside. So I used to enjoy a class I had right here. I had this window from my classroom. I used to enjoy that because then I could see out here, and that building wasn't here then. So we're going to cut across over here. I'm wearing my Skechers that I like walking in. And I usually don't wear them at night because my Reeboks have reflectors in them for nighttime walking. And these don't. And because I knew it was going to be a day walk, yeah, you can see my reflection in the window right there. I don't know when they built this building, but as you can see, it's beautiful here. It's actually most beautiful here when the kids aren't here. And I call them kids, but you know, college students, they're all adults. Or so they think. It is a nice campus. So we'll walk down this way. Hi. So we got Avenue, Sears Hall, CHU Hall. the bus. It's nice that they have these emergency police boxes. Campus cops. In case I end up getting raped or anything. Don't want that to happen. So that reminds me, I was watching you got the Olympics. Okay, they're going to be starting up in Paris, and I call Paris Little Mecca. It seems like there's more immigrants living there than Parisians. And I won't call them Parisians because I mean, as far as the illegal, they're illegal immigrants. But we'll cut across this way. They're going to have the Olympics in Paris, and they're already running into problems. And really, I don't know what they expected. The media, all right, the media reported it as 5 men, African in appearance. Okay, that's what the media said. African in appearance. I'm not going to touch that one. That's what the media reported it. You know what they're doing, okay? They're covering what it really was. But anyway, I guess there was a 21 or 26-year-old Australian female. She was found at a police station. She walked into a police station, I guess. She had her dress on backwards, front to back, back to fro, whatever you want to call it. And she said she had been stripped naked and she was raped by 5 migrants in Paris. Gang raped. She's lucky to be alive, because we've seen instances like that where that's not the case. But the point is, they let this into their country and she got gang raped. A tourist from Australia. Nobody carries any protection in France because it's illegal. The only people that can carry any protection are law enforcement or people authorized to carry for governmental or police purposes. You can own, as a citizen, a black powder revolver. That shoots cap and ball, like I have on my channel. In this country, you don't need an FFL to buy those. You can have them delivered right to your house. The ATF does not classify antique firearms as firearms. Non-cartridge. So, you can own those in France, but you need a permit. So you can't even have old Civil War technology in France unless you're permitted to do so. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. She got gang raped. Who knows what's going to result from that? Sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancy, you know, HIV, whatever. It's a damn shame. They let that into their country, which is on Macron, and that's what Marine Le Pen ran on. And the young Marxist made sure she lost. Hi, little squirrel. Hi. Hi, little buddy. Hi. That was a quick little squirrel. Did you see that? So anyway, I'm sure we're going to see a whole bunch of stories show up on the social media that has free speech Facebook is going to censor anybody that's raped, robbed, or killed by illegals. That's just what they're going to do. And same thing on Instagram. I think those are the two biggest offenders. And of course you have Facebook's social media offshoot called Threads. And there's another one called Blue Sky, which is very, very liberal. They're going to censor all that stuff. And but you and I are going to talk about it, right? So the problem is they have a lot of people that have come into our countries. I will just say our countries in the United States too, that don't belong here. Now there's a lot of people that have come here that do belong here. Problem is nobody vetted anybody. Nobody knows who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, which is why you're seeing these problems. There was 2 migrants that kidnapped a 12-year-old girl in the United States here, illegals, and they raped her and they beat her and killed her. And it's not an isolated incident. It happens a lot, and we can't allow that. So that's why I'm going to vote for Trump. That's it. Seen enough. We need a big win in November. Tell your friends, tell your family, grab some people that have never voted before and go vote. Vote early, vote on voting day. Don't care how, okay? Important thing is you have to vote. Now I'm going to check my GPS, see where I am. All right. I think I will go straight this time instead of cutting off to the right. Cut across the street here when it's safe to do so. Get across here. Well, I had a good light that time. Well, bloody hell. Did 6 miles yesterday. I'm at about 3 right now. which way do I go? I think we'll go this way. We'll go this way, and then I'll cut a left up here. Then I'll cut a right. And I think I'll be right around my 5 to 6 mile mark. I think. I always got to get at least 5. So unfortunately, that is the harsh reality of all these illegals. Is you have a really big element that have come in, probably not the largest element of what came in, but a pretty big element of what came in that are not nice people. They're criminals, psychotic, rapists. So you have to say what it is when you see it. It's not racist, it's not bigotry. It's ridiculous. That's what I don't like about this neo-Marxist identity politics garbage. You have to say all people of color are wonderful. Turn around and say all white people are wonderful, and you're the devil. There's a double standard there, and that just doesn't fly with me, and that should be an automatic for you to ignore it and not practition it. Do not participate in identity politics. It's no good. It's poison. It's bad. And these countries in Central America and elsewhere have emptied their jails, and they've emptied their mental asylums and dumped them on the United States. It's not conspiracy. It happened in the early 80s, late 70s. Fidel Castro let all these people out of his prisons and lunatic asylums, and they blended in with all the good people that came here from Cuba. So that happens. Problem is people need to be vetted. People that belong here should come here. People from these oppressed countries seeking liberty and freedom, more than welcome. Come here, come here, just come here. But come here legally. We're not a bunch of racists like the media makes us out to be. So, if you're going to the Olympics in France, be careful. That's about all you can be, because you can't have anything to protect yourself with. And if you did protect yourself with something, okay, let's say you got attacked and you had found something to defend yourself with. Maybe it was a tree branch that was laying there, or a brick or something. They're going to charge you with a crime because you injured an immigrant, because they're pushing a socialist agenda and they're abusing their courts. They're doing that in Europe worse than they are here. So this is a very basic carbon footprint that socialism uses everywhere to maintain power, as you punish the people going against the state agenda. So that's just a fact. I think we're going to head down to the left, over this way. So there you have it. There it is. Don't go to Paris this year. My advice to Americans: don't vacation in Europe. Just don't go. your odds increase dramatically of being seriously injured, harmed, robbed, raped, murdered. I'm not saying it to be a jerk, I'm just saying it because that's the way it is. And that goes for some big cities in the United States. Don't go to Dallas, don't go to Houston, don't go to Chicago, don't go to Los Angeles, don't go to New York City. Don't go to these places. Criminals are coddled and they do what they want. Just my opinion, folks. Just my opinion. So now we have Joe Biden, who has come out of hiding today, finally. He's going to be addressing the country tonight with a national televised address at 8 o'clock. By the time you see this, it will have happened, I guess. And he's going to echo the letter that was posted on social media that apparently his own campaign staff didn't even know was going to happen. They read it on social media before everybody else did, or at the same time everybody else did, which is really quite bizarre. So there's a lot of rumors going around that Biden has a terminal illness. He very well may. That should be made transparent with the public. He may do that tonight, because he is going to discuss his dropping out of the race and not accepting the nomination of his party. And so I don't know what we're going to see. This year has been crazy. He might very well come out tonight and say, you know what, I'm staying in it. So I thought about it and these people are pushing me out and I don't want to go. He could very well do that, but I doubt it. I'm just saying the way this year has been would not surprise me. Would not surprise me. Would not surprise me if he came out and said I've been having little strokes and that's what's causing my dementia, because my dad had vascular dementia. So, you know, one minute you're perfectly fine and then the next you have difficulty speaking, slurring a little bit and saying things that don't make sense or difficult to follow. And then, you know, an hour later it'll be fine. So it's like kind of the same stuff that old Joe has been exhibiting. And he has had brain bleeding before. He's had clots in his brain. And Air Force One does have a full medical facility on board. A lot of people don't know that, but they do. And a couple of independent journalists a couple of weeks ago reported a medical emergency and the press were told to leave the plane. I told you guys about that on one of my walks, I believe. And something did happen. The White House said that he met with a neurologist, a specialist. And I don't believe you would declare a medical emergency and throw the press off the plane for a routine neurological exam, okay? So Biden, I think, was having some kind of stroke symptoms. He just went to Walter Reed for COVID. Many are maintaining he didn't even have COVID. He's probably having stroke issues. They got all kinds of equipment where they can go up through a vein in your leg all the way to anywhere, really. and work their way and actually find a blood clot and remove it. So we have seen Joe Biden with, one time he had what looked like a bruise on his hand between his thumb and pointy finger. And I know from experience what I saw, because that happened with my dad more than once. Where you get an IV, okay? You get an IV and you're on blood thinners. And when you're on blood thinners, you bruise very easily. So if you have something like an IV where they put a needle in, that area will actually turn into a bruise, and it takes a while to go away. I saw that on Joe Biden's hand, a couple of photographs, and people were talking about it, asking what it was. Well, that's what it was. So I'm fairly certain Joe Biden's on blood thinners. That's an uneducated guess. It's a guess. It's not factual information, okay? I'm just giving my opinion. I'm sure it's different than yours. So So with that, we get stuff that's going on with Joe. And basically he had just said if something happened to him he wasn't able to continue, and doctors told him that what he has isn't good and it's not going to get better, then he would step down. And he said he's stepping down. I think the COVID diagnosis was a cover for whatever it is they had to do at Walter Reed. Maybe some kind of procedure, but he did arrive in DC today. Looked like he had a difficult time going down the stairs. So there's something wrong with Joe. Okay, well here's the problem. He's going to be president for 6 more months. 6 more friggin' months, okay? We can't have that. Right now, it's like we don't have a president. We don't have anybody in charge except bureaucrats appointed. We can't have that. The Republicans have to do something about that. Now here's the problem with that. If you try to do something about that as a Republican, you're going to look like a vindictive, we told you so, or we're going to go after Biden and remove him so Kamala will be the president. Now a lot of people are saying, oh geez, you know, we don't want Kamala as president. Look, that is better than having Biden there, I'm telling you. It's not much different. We have to have somebody that's at least coherent to what time it is during the day, you know what I mean? No, she's not a good choice for that. This whole thing sucks. But what kind of appearance are you giving off to the rest of the world, like people like Xi and Putin? Biden's not intimidating anybody at all. At this point, he probably needs help with his freaking his pull-ups, if you know what I mean. So, this isn't good. So the other things that happens with now Kamala being the candidate, as it is right now, looks like she's going to be. She's not officially yet still, and Obama still hasn't endorsed her. Pelosi has. I didn't think she would. She's not well liked. She's not. She's arrogant, difficult to get along with. She's very headstrong, and she does what she wants, and she doesn't take things seriously. She doesn't prepare She absolutely will be a horrible president, okay? Between now and the election, people are going to figure that out. Right now, they're just happy Biden's gone. Anybody but Biden. Well, that's what they got. Anybody but Biden. And that's going to wear off pretty quickly. So, because she's an idiot and she'll do things that idiots do. So what do we do, man, you know? As a Republican, do you remove Kamala Harris well, not remove her, but remove Biden? 25th Amendment? Do you have hearings? I would definitely at least have hearings. Call people in from the White House to testify. When did you first notice his cognitive decline? I remind you, you're under oath. When did this happen? When was this first noticed? Because between this date and that date, Biden was never seen in public. So it's pretty obvious they covered this up. Now here's why this is important. Kamala Harris was vice president and she went on all the networks saying Biden was just fine. He's just fine. Biden is as sharp as ever. 1 to 2 weeks before the debate, she was saying there's nothing wrong. He's great. Don't worry about it. Well, now we know different. And she covered it up with everybody else. And that needs to be pointed out because that's dishonesty with the public. And the Republicans can point that out without looking like bullies beating up an old man. Okay? That's the point I'm making. Even for me, I kind of feel bad for Joe. Very interesting. I think I'm going to come back for those jugs if they're still here. Those are too fun to shoot. I'm throwing them out. All right. So with Kamala, all right, there's two different opinions on this. Kamala is going to hammer Trump because he's an older white man. She's going to bring up the fact that she's a woman, she's black. Trump's a racist, and she's going to get away with calling him that. Because she has special privileges because she's a minority. Even though I'll argue she's not black. What I mean by that is she's more Indian than black. And she had relatives in Jamaica that owned slaves. So her family used to own slaves. True story. So, with that, she's going to hammer him on that, and he needs to not get triggered about it. He needs to come up with a strategy, because remember, it was supposed to be J.D. Vance debating with Kamala. Now that's not going to happen. And the reason why that was okay is Kamala is half Indian, and J.D. Vance is married to an Indian wife in California, I believe is what they said when they met. So, you know, there you have that. And you can bet your bottom dollar that the media right now is digging up every little thing about J.D. Vance they can. And I'm sure they have already because he's a Republican senator. That's automatic grounds for defamation attacks. And So they're going to really attack Donald Trump on the E. Jean Carroll sexual assault, not rape. She's just going to call Trump a rapist. Now here's the thing. Kamala brings good things to the table and she brings bad. The bad is young men don't like her. They don't like her. Women are going to like her. But a lot of black women don't like her. So you might get one of these elections where people are going to go, I don't like Trump, I don't like Kamala. This is terrible. I'm going to vote for RFK. Which is fine, because a vote for RFK helps Trump. Would help it more if you voted for Trump, but I'm just saying, if you're not going to vote for Trump, don't vote for Kamala just because it's not Trump. Don't vote at all. That would be the best thing. So, anyways, we have who I'm going to call Kamala Haktua Harris. Hopefully you know what that reference is. If you don't, I'm not going to describe it. She's been called Heels Up Harris, Vice President Knee Pads. You get the picture, okay? She has a history. She made her rounds in California. She was screwing Montel Williams for a while. She screwed the mayor of San Francisco to become Attorney General. She's quite the pistola, okay? Now she's 59. And men don't like her. Black women don't like her. They didn't like her when she was on the primary stage. She didn't even get 3% of the black vote on the primary stage. But that's because other Democrats got the black votes, like Biden and whomever else. So a lot of those people that didn't support her in the primary, now that she's a candidate for president, which is pretty much all but done, she has enough delegates, they said, but they still haven't had the delegate vote yet. That's the thing. She does not have this in the bag yet. The Messiah, Obama, has not spoken yet. He is the biggest, most influential Democrat. So that's why I said keep an eye on Obama. The problem is they're treating the Democratic convention like people voted for Joe Biden. It's the same thing as voting for Kamala. And that's not the case. If those people had found out that Kamala was going to be the candidate and not Joe Biden, they probably wouldn't have voted for Biden. Or they may have. We're not going to know now. So this is definitely election rigging. This is definitely election rigging by the DNC. They're really good at that. It's dishonest. They're disenfranchising their own voters. They don't care. They really don't. All right, friends. Had a battery that went kaput. Kaputski. I'll come up here on the side so I don't get killed. A little humid today, by the way. I think I mentioned that, even though it's not hot and the sun's not out. I am sweating. I'm soaked with sweat. Dew point's about 68, almost 70. It's sticky. Yesterday was really nice. I gotta watch this car. Oh, they saw me. I'll cross over up ahead here. I think I'll cross over now. I think it's safe. As long as I have something to walk on the side. There we go. My little pathway over here. Well, looks like she's got some stuff growing here in her garden. I don't know what all this other stuff is. So, we've got apples starting to come out. A lot of animals stop by here in the fall when those apples start falling off the tree, and they eat the apples. I've seen porcupines, possum, raccoons, deer, all kinds of little things will stop and eat those. Got a nice canopy over the road now. This is a beautiful section to walk through in the fall when the leaves turn. You'll see that. This is all like oranges and reds, yellows. It's really gorgeous. I think you'll like that. Oh, we're coming up on 5 miles. You can hear acorns falling out of the tree. You can see some on the sidewalk and in the side of the road. Free deer food. And they come by here and eat at night. So when I get back, I'm gonna circle back with my car. I'm gonna go pick up those water jugs that were on the side of the road. Those are too tempting to leave there. Those are fun to shoot at the range. And of course we dispose of them properly after. We just hit 5 miles. 5 miles. 5 miles of smiles. I can see for miles and miles. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Shoot those big jugs. Hopefully they're still there when I get in my car and go back, because it might be a late trash pickup or something, but it looks like something they didn't pick up and they left there. So I want to get there before the people that live there come home from work or whatever. I don't want to lose the jugs. So it was definitely a nice day to walk today in the daytime. It wasn't too hot. And I'm sweating about as much as I would be at night. It'd be a little cooler at night, but that's not unbearable right now. So we're gonna head back. I'll sign off somewhere up ahead here. Hopefully everything goes good in Paris for the Olympics. I still say it's a big mistake. And you know, the problem is the police departments have been told to stay back and coddle everybody. They're not enforcing things. I saw a clip with this friggin' guy resisting the police. He pulled away from the cop and he started jogging off, and both cops just stood there and let him go. They didn't even chase him. It's like, are you kidding me? That's like a criminal's paradise. You get caught and the cops don't even try to catch you. It's insanity. That was in London. They have very strict orders from the mayor. Friggin' leftist. You just saw that cat sleeping underneath that vehicle. I've seen that cat do that often. I'm sure the owners are aware. Well, it was a nice walk today, and you can see what the sky looks like. Oh, might not get thunderstorms today, maybe later. I know it's supposed to be rain off and on. Chance of thunderstorms later tonight, which kind of looks like that might be the case. But I don't think it'll be anything serious. So anyway, I want to give a shout out to V-Man and his lady. Thank you for watching my videos. It means a lot. And very historical time we're all going through. And I'm enjoying it with you. So well, hope everybody has a beautiful week, and stay safe and stay away from Paris if you know what's good for you. Bye bye everybody, thanks for watching. Ciao, till next time, see ya.